Okay, happy belated New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, happy belated New Year. I am back, okay, and back with a really strange story, of course, because I know a lot of you like some of the strange stuff that I put on here that some of you can relate to. But yeah, this really sickened me to my stomach when I ran across this shit. Ex-stripper gets 20 years in prison for sex abuse of boy and dog. I know some of you recount the old news article about viral sex abuse of a 4-year-old boy, saying by an unknown woman that made the waves back in 2012. You know, I thought this was 2010, but nah, this is 2012. I kind of got confused because time went by so quickly. This was way before the coronavirus hit. You didn't have COVID-19 at that time, 2012. I mean, it was a different day for all of us, of course. But this is just one strange story. But let me show you a photo of this, okay? This truly defines a dumb fuck, okay? Yes, she is a dumb fuck for ruining that poor boy's life, okay? She should have her fucking head cut off. If there was ever a death penalty, she would have her head cut off. Or she would have been hung. End of story, okay? And let me just say the name. Her name is Angeline Lodice, okay? And she's in prison, okay? She should have got life, but she put it down to 20 years. Now, let me read you this article, okay? Because you are not going to believe this shit. This was from November 23rd, 2021, okay? And I wish I found this sooner, but sadly I didn't. But hey, better late than never, okay? So, let's get down to business, shall we? And hopefully you'll see me more often if I can find better stories to read and share with y'all, because I know some of you missed the man in the black mask. And for that I apologize, okay? No reason needed, but hey, you're gonna see me probably more often than not if I can find anything good. Angeline Lodice confessed to being the woman in the images and videos, but claims she'd been drugged at the time. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Shut the fuck up. A New Orleans ex-stripper who was accused of sexually abusing a 4-year-old boy and having sex with a dog has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. So not only did she commit rape, she committed bestiality. Man, was this son of a bitch reckless. She must have thought she was going to get away with the shit that she did, but hey, the boy's father was the one that blew the whistle, and down for the count she went. Down for the motherfucking count. Angeline Lodice, 33, of Old Jefferson, pleaded guilty Monday, November 22nd, to forcible rape, possession of child pornography involving a juvenile under 13, and sexual battery, according to court records cited by NOLA.com. So she got rape and bestiality. Had that been me, they put me away for life. I wouldn't got no fucking plea deal. Lodice, who deputies said previously worked as a stripper at a Bourbon Street club in New Orleans, had been jailed since her October 2014 arrest after the boy's father contacted sheriff's officials. Thank you, Daddy. Now get your son the help that he needs, because he's probably going to have PTSD if he don't got it already. But do make sure that he gets help. And make sure that he don't turn to drugs or alcohol just to numb that shit, because that tends to make things worse. I wouldn't wish addiction on nobody. I got plenty of drug addicts in my family. And the majority of them have been through trauma. Anyway, back to the story. The boy's father alleged that Lodice's cousin gave him videos and photographs showing her performing oral sex on the 4-year-old sometime between late 2012 and 2014. She was indicted by a grand jury in February 2015, NOLA.com previously reported. When grilled by investigators, Lodice confessed to being the woman in the images and videos. But hear this. She claimed she had been drugged at the time. Now, that is what I call bullshit. That's what these fucking rapists do. You know, they lie and not only blame the victim, but blame their so-called mental illnesses and addictions and the whole shebang. I don't buy none of that shit. They just try to skirt from accountability by telling all these fucking outlandish ass lies. I mean, shut the fuck up, man. Admit that you fucked up. She also insisted she could not identify the child in the disturbing images and clips an arrest affidavit shows. She did something really fucking bizarre. It would have got an average person shot in the fucking head. Most parents would kill their kids rapists once they found out that their children have been sexually assaulted by some son of a bitch who had no business being around them in the first place. Fuck. Another video reviewed by authorities showed Lodice having sex with a dog. Bestiality. According to the arrest affidavit, Jefferson Parish prosecutors ultimately didn't pursue charges since the incident occurred in St. Landry Parish, NOLA.com reported. As part of a plea deal, the aggravated rape count against Lodice was reduced to forcible rape. Lucky son of a bitch. She faced a mandatory life sentence if found guilty of the former charge. A judge ultimately sentenced her to 20 years for forcible rape as well as possession of child pornography. Holy fuck. Now, I just want to show you something. Some of you might know this fuckball, Angeline Lodice, okay? She did something really fucking bizarre. She not only raped a 4-year-old boy, but also raped her own fucking dog. Piece of shit. Man, this could make an average person's stomach boil, man. This is just fucking mind-blowing that this knucklehead would do such bizarre shit like that. The judge who sentenced Lodice, who must register as a sex offender, to 10 years for sexual battery, which she'll serve concurrently with no parole or probation. Bingo. NOLA.com reported. So that being said, she'll probably have to serve 100% of her sentence, in addition to credit for time served. Because, let's face it, man, this is from 2014 to 2021. So she'd have 7 years off with credit for time served, okay? So 20 years, you know what I'm saying? You subtract 7 from 20, and that leaves 13. So that being said, she'll have to serve a grand total of 13 years, in addition to credit for time already served in pretrial detention, okay? So she's lucky she made it through half of her sentence. Well, a little under a half, because an actual half would have been 10 years. A half of 20 is 10. In 2015, a lawyer for Lodice said she planned to plead not guilty by reason of insanity and would undergo psychiatric and psychological evaluations. Well, she can pretty much do that in prison, of course, So she's probably going to need that shit for the rest of her life, man, what that fucking Lodice did, Of all the stories that I read about, I never, ever heard of some strange shit like that. But I remember back in 2004, right, there was this woman that, raped an 8-year-old boy, Her name was Tammy Emer, okay? Well, she been out now. She's now a registered sex offender, of course, and I heard that boy got some serious mental problems as a result of the abuse. And I sure hope that he don't go further crazy or, turn to drugs and alcohol or commit crimes against others. Because that's what some of us fear, victims becoming victimizers or addicts and other criminals because they had such horrible fucking shit done to them as children when they were at their lowest point, when they were at a point where they couldn't even hardly comprehend certain things, let alone abuse. Because think about it, we was all children once, okay? We was all children. And just about everybody has experienced some form of verbal and physical abuse as children, especially if you've ever been to a certain school or if you've ever been to jail or prison or even a psych ward. You're going to experience some form of trauma in some way. But hopefully it won't affect you in the long run to where you ruin your life further by doing something that, an average person would think twice about doing. And now a lot of us are scared for this little boy that was seen in that video, okay? My heart bleeds for that man, okay? So he's probably something of well, he's not really a teenager yet, but he's almost double digit. Actually, he is probably a teenager right now and will probably need psychiatric help, okay? And that's what I'm mostly scared of, okay? I'm scared of what will happen to him in the future, that he's either going to hurt himself or hurt others, okay? And I wouldn't wish that on nobody, okay? I wouldn't. It's just not in my fucking nature. It ain't. I know a few people, and I've had a few family members that were parts of incest, rape, and statutory rape, and even generalized abuse. I understand what that can do to an average person's brain. The person that has been traumatized in some fucking way. They either turn to drugs or alcohol to numb the pain that should have never been inflicted upon them in the first place, or worst case scenario, they become criminals and victimizes themselves. Okay, that we don't want. Now, I urge some of you who either have siblings or children or grandchildren that might have experienced severe sexual trauma, which is even worse than physical trauma itself. I urge y'all to pray for those lives, okay? Pray for the lives of your kin and your friends that have experienced such trauma, and pray that they don't ruin their lives further by doing really inappropriate shit. A lot of you would kill to protect your family, let alone your kids. I can relate to that. I know I would. And I would have been appalled if that son of a bitch in question did that shit to my little boy or little girl. I want to get a saw and chop her motherfucking head off. I really would. To me, that motherfucker should have got life. Shouldn't have even got no plea deal. But I understood why the DA decided to do that in the first place, to keep the boy, who's now a teenager, from having to testify. He's now either 13 or 14 years old and is going to need some serious help. But I'm glad he didn't have to testify. But again, I remember a similar story back in 2004 with this woman, who did this to an 8-year-old boy. A lot of you can relate to that too. And a lot of you know both the victim and the fucking pervert in question, that woman. Like I said, man, my heart prays for those victims. Okay, I wouldn't wish that upon nobody. I don't want nobody to have their lives ruined in that kind of fashion. I wish no malice upon any friend, family, or foe. Okay, I got plenty of friends and families and foes that I would not wish evil upon. Okay, and you shouldn't do it either. And those of you that know Angeline Lodice, please cut her out of your life. Okay, she fucked up this boy's life for no reason. She thought she could get away with murder, but I'm glad that Lodice's cousin turned her in. I would have done the same thing myself if I was her family or a friend. Because I'm thinking this boy's gonna need some fucking help, for Christ's sake. I mean, how do you excuse shit like that? How the fuck do you excuse taping yourself raping an innocent 4-year-old boy? I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, get the fuck out of here. She's lucky she didn't get life without parole. She better fucking pray that those other chicks in that prison don't tear her a new asshole. Because had that been me, I'd have to watch my fucking back when I'm in that cell and I'm accused of a fucking sex crime. Because I know somebody's going to put it in my ass at some point or try to stab me in the fucking shower at the very worst, which is what I would prefer, to get stabbed in the shower. I would have rather got stabbed than got raped, okay? I wouldn't want a motherfucker to put his thing in me. I mean, that's not going to fucking happen. So Lodice will likely probably take it in the ass from a guard. Because, them guards don't like sexual predators neither. They won't. They just fucking won't. You understand me? I wouldn't wish nobody to get raped in prison. But if you or anybody that you know have ever been sexually assaulted in prison even, I feel bad for you, man. I feel sad for you. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. You understand me? I just fucking wouldn't. But I am very disgusted by this article here, and I just wanted to bring it up because it was very personal to me. I even know some dude that was raped at 6 years old by either a relative or a babysitter or whatever the fuck. He didn't elaborate further, but he just said it was a he. I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he didn't tell me nothing else. I didn't want to know nothing else other than the fact that his life got ruined. Okay, me and him attended the same school. I could really cry right now. Something as fucking stupid as this article that I just read. Just makes me sick to the core, man. Fuck. And I know a lot of you remember Amelia Wrestler, saying she taped herself, pleasuring herself in front of all these fucking kids. Now, I told you about that last year. Make sure you do that video too, and the aftermath. Turns out that cocksucker, her fucking boyfriend, was the one that put her up to it. To me, them both should be shot in the fucking head. Okay, children are not put on this earth to be abused. They're put on this earth to become positive influences. But when they become adults, they can become very successful and not, stuck in the same road that they were exposed to years ago. Because some of you got children of your own, so just pray for your kids. Pray that your lives ain't ruined further. Okay? There are some people that just shouldn't be around children in the first place. And what sickens me to the core is that people think they can just do whatever the fuck they want because they're children. They think that they can't speak up or fight back or nothing, but boy, they're going to be in for a rude fucking awakening. Some of these kids can fight back, and they will, and not give a fuck. Because this female friend that I know did 5 years for killing her rapist in self-defense. Okay, she was like 11 or 12. I'm not going to name names, but this is very personal to me. Okay? This is very personal because I have a few friends whose lives were ruined at such young ages, okay? And, yeah, that could have been me. That could have been any of you. Do you understand? I wouldn't want this for nobody. Yes, I've made a lot of enemies in the past, but I wouldn't wish no evil on them. I mean, no fucking way. Jesus fucking Christ, man. What is the world coming to? Why can't people just act normal? You know what I'm saying? Why can't people just be mature and not act so fucking childish, Angeline Lodice, she should have learned her lesson. She should have left that boy the fuck alone, and she should have never, and I mean ever, fucked her dog either. I mean, what kind of sick, twisted, demented motherfucker fucks a dog and a boy at the same time? I mean, come on, man. What the fuck? What the fuck? Unfucking believable, man. These fucking perverts, man. I'm telling you, they should all be caged up like a bunch of motherfucking dogs. You know what I'm saying? I know I got a lot of sex offenders in my area. Just like some of you have sex offenders in your area. I just don't think they should be living near us in general. I think they should all be locked up in fucking cages. You know what I'm saying? Because there are definitely no kids in cages. Just grown-ups who fuck their lives up really bad, They just got caught up in some really weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Those that are incarcerated, some of them have come from good backgrounds, but then they got caught up in some really bad shit. And, that's not their fault, but they still got to be held accountable. But there are some who just never really made it in the outside world. Some of it they brought on themselves, some of it they didn't. But they still need to be held accountable. Such as Angeline Lodice. Whatever mental help that she needs, she's probably going to get it in prison. And they'll probably give her some sort of medication. She's probably fucking bipolar or some shit. I don't know. I ain't no doctor. But I do know that she's way fucked in the head, And that's the one thing that bugs me about rapists. They try to play this crazy card whenever they get busted, They want to claim that they're fucking crazy and that nothing's ever their fault. It is their fucking fault. You should have never put your hands on those fucking kids if they didn't do nothing yet. Should have left them the fuck alone. I mean, I don't believe this shit. I just don't fucking believe it. That people that get caught for doing some shit they ain't supposed to, they want to do everything in their power to keep them being held accountable and responsible. You gotta be held responsible for your actions. You gotta pay the piper. You gotta pay the price for each rule that you break. for each law that you break. You know what I'm saying? My bus matron told me years ago, and my fellow students, right, when she punished her son, right, for smoking weed in school or whatever the fuck it was. It was either weed or cigarettes. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This bus matron, her name was Kathy. You know, she was a good person. You know, she's very good. I don't know if she's still alive, but you know, she's not. I hope she's in a bad place. But I just hope that she's alive, and you know, I hope she's listening. You know what I'm saying? She taught her son a lesson. Don't ever smoke weed in school. You know? You're saying she talked about how she and her husband, you know, whooped his ass and grounded him for like half a year, took away his games, and he couldn't watch Martin or whatever. She told a weird fucking story, man, but it was funny. I couldn't help but laugh, you know? And yeah, she told me and my fellow students, right? You do the crime, you do the time. And the same rules apply to Miss Angeline Lodice, okay? She should never have touched a 4-year-old boy and her dog inappropriately, okay? She did something really crazy, man. She was a stone cold fucking psycho. And I'm glad Angeline Lodice is in prison, okay? And she's going to pay for what she did. She will not be eligible for parole. She's doing 20 years. End of story, okay? She must serve 100% of her sentence. So she's lucky she's almost halfway through her sentence. But like I said, man, my heart goes out to the victim, you know, who's now a teenager. Okay, I will pray that his life don't get ruined further. I will forever pray for that boy wherever he is. And if you're listening, let me tell you something. This is not your fault. And the son of a bitch that violates you like that, she's paying for what she did, okay? And she's gonna do her time, and she's gonna do it like a fucking adult, okay? She is gonna pay for each day that you suffer. And I sincerely pray that you get all the help that you can get for the PTSD or wherever it is that you got, okay? I wouldn't wish your situation on nobody. Do you understand? I wouldn't. It's not in my nature. Okay? I just wish people would treat kids with more respect. Really. That's what they need. They need to be respected instead of disrespected. You see, there's a price that comes with disrespecting your own kid or others like them. You should only disrespect them if they act out or be a dickhead towards you. Other than that, don't violate them because it will end badly. Okay? Treat the kids the way you want to be treated. And stop looking for an excuse to victimize them and ruin their lives just because you got it bad and they don't. Or the other way around. I don't know. I don't fucking care. But either way, you don't have no right to victimize a child. Okay? But you do have a right to treat them with every ounce of respect in your blood. That's what I urge all of you to do. Think about those children as your own kids. And treat them with mutual respect and pride and dignity. Okay? They deserve better. Some of them have the opportunity to pursue things that we weren't allowed to pursue as children. How can they do that if you're going to ruin their lives? If you're going to hurt them in some way? Okay? Don't make these kids crazy. Make them healthy. You know? Children are precious. I got children in my family. I mean, I'm not a father, but a lot of my relatives are children. And I wouldn't want them to get hurt like that. I really wouldn't. Okay? Abuse is never okay. If you or anyone is experiencing abuse, don't forget to call for help. Okay? And I urge all of you kids to do the same thing if you're experiencing some form of abuse and you need help and you need to get out of the house. Okay? Don't hesitate to call for help. If you can run, run. But no matter what you do, get help. So anyway, thank you for listening to the Man in the Black Mask. Okay? And he wishes all of you a happy belated New Year. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment underneath the screen and tell me what you think about this bizarre encounter because I don't like it no more than you do, okay? In fact, I fucking hate it, okay? And I'll be back another time if I can find another story, okay? So until then, good luck, be well, and have a good day. Thank you for your service. And I'm out.